There we go. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. How are you today? Good to see you, and hope that you are all doing fine. My name is Petrov Rugen, and today we're going to talk about 2110. Let me know in the comments below if everything is fine on your end. I do see people have joined live and direct, so let's get these things started. I do see, for example, Garrett all the way from Germany, Connie from Aachen, and Veal all the way from Finland. Welcome, welcome. It looks to be a little bit on the low end today. I believe that a lot of festivities are going on, of course, with Thanksgiving, etc. So I can definitely imagine that my US colleagues have different things on their plate. Like, for example, turkey. So welcome also to you guys if you're watching this video after the fact. So today, as promised, we're going to talk about 2110 or IP 2110. And this is a request basically from the community to talk about that. Remember, a few weeks ago I said, hey, I still have two options for you this year. You can either go with the Waveboard Mini from Scarhoy or with the 2110 by Blackmagic design, and we are going to talk about that. But before I do that, I do see on the brick Alex coming in all the way from Italy. Buongiorno. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you for being here as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about, well, you know, the 2110. First and foremost, I am by a long shot not a let's say, a expert on 2110, but I do know one thing that's actually working for me, and we're going to talk about that. And I think that this is also going to be a very nice opportunity for you if you are very much occasionally using the 2110 and not so much on a daily basis. There are better solutions. There are way more powerful solutions as the one that I will be showing you off today. However, this one is very simple to implement, and I think that that's also very important for producers like us, most of us at least. 2110 is a protocol that has been around for maybe a few years, 3-4 years at the most, but really since last year, I believe, it really became a very important protocol. Basically, what it allows you to do is to convert video signal, being HDR 4K, towards a Cat7 Ethernet protocol that is called IP2110, which is a protocol that is a standard, an industry standard. And then, of course, you want to go back from 2110 to SDI or HDMI at a later stage. Like I said, it's an industry standard. It's really meant for really big broadcasters. These people are really using it quite often, though I do believe that for us, the smaller ones, actually, it's also of a benefit, though maybe in a different way. So I actually purchased, I believe it's about 3-4 months ago, two 2110 IP converters, the 3x3G. This is the box right here. This is what it looks like. It's a rack-mountable converter from 10G with 10G Ethernet for converting 3G SDI to SMTPE 2110 IP. 3G means it's all the way up to 1080p 60, which is for my workflow more than enough. However, it might not be for you, but Blackmagic does allow also for 4K versions. What I really like about this box is that it actually can convert 3 signals at a time from SDI to IP2110. So that's 3 signals at one go from SDI to 2110. But at the same time, I repeat, at the same time, all the way the way around as well, from 2110 to SDI. So you have 6 signals of HD content that you can actually process with this device. 6 signals. And that's because at the back, you'll see that it has a plethora of SDI connections. But don't let that fool you. There are 3 inputs right here. Then we've got 3 loop outputs, so you can put in SDI1 and loop it out immediately on SDI1 as well. So it's all local. And then below you see the outputs. Those are 3 outputs, SDI, that's the other way around, by the way, I now see. So SDI1 in and out, and then SDI out right there. But that doesn't matter for the sake of it. And we have a ref out, which I basically do not use. I'm not that professional. And of course, the Ethernet, which is also PoE+. So that also means that if you would connect it to a switcher, you can and you should use PoE, because of course the power adapter is not included as part of basically everything that Blackmagic on a professional scale does. So that is the box. And what can you find in the box? You can find, of course, some leaflets. I'm going to show you very quickly a leaflet of DaVinci Resolve, a sticker like so, a welcome leaflet as well, and very important, some feet that you can sticker on the device below so that you can also use it for your desktop. The way that I'm going to use it is that I will be using it as part of a 19-inch rack, because this is a starting point for me. I am considering to purchase a little bit more of these units than I have at this particular moment. So what does this look like? Well, this is roughly it. Oh no, this is the HyperDeck. Sorry, this is just kidding. It's just to show you a little bit what the sizes of these things. So this is a HyperDeck shuttle, or sorry, a HyperDeck Mini. So that's so to give you some idea. The front is exactly the same, but as you can see, it's way more deep than the HyperDeck, and I think that that's enough of HyperDeck right there for you today. By the way, I didn't tell you, I did purchase the HyperDeck Mini some earlier this year, and this one I'm actually I didn't really make a video on it because I think that we already know what a HyperDeck Mini is, but I'm using this as part of my ATEM Extreme SDI setup. Which is better than having the HyperDeck shuttle that I have to convert. So this is the unit right here. Again, I have two of these. Basically what it looks like, it's roughly the same as you are used to, with the same 6 buttons. I mean, if I would put the HyperDeck below it or on top of it, you will see how closely they are resemblant to each other. There you go. It's very much the same unit, and that's also what I like about it. It's very compact, but it's still very well, deep, so to speak. Let me check very quickly. I see Alex has a question. Compared to NDI, these are really cheap. A good one-channel NDI encoder costs the same. I believe that is correct, Alex. It is indeed quite cost-effective. And also, Eric is in the house. Welcome, Eric. Appreciate you for taking the time and effort. All right. So I have 2 of these. Of course, I already stickered them so that they know that it's taekwondo. I use a purple sticker for that these days. And I actually also put on a label stating Studio 1, 2, 3. And I have another one right here. Let me get that for you. And that one is actually stating Stage 1, 2, 3. And it also has a cable, because I need it in just a bit. That reminds me that I also want to utilize that cable for this one right here as well. Why do I need that cable? Is because you can use a router for SMTP 2110, and that is way better and is very flexible. However, 2110 is a very difficult protocol to implement, and I'm lazy and I don't want to get into trouble when I'm producing a live show. So I am actually connecting the 2 devices directly without any switcher in between. But that does mean that if I want to, configure it, even though you have limited ability on the device itself, having a USB-C port on the front and on your laptop does help with connecting to it at a later stage. So this is the Studio 1, 2, 3, and the other one is the stagebox right there. Again, let's show you the back, and because of the lighting here in the studio, I will be lighting it a little bit up for you with my phone. There you go. So let's give it a little bit more light so that you really can see it. All right. So as you can see, you've got 3 inputs below. So the 3 inputs below. They are looped out above. Also 3 inputs. Oh. And then on the my left-hand side, that side, you see the 3 outputs, and of course the Ethernet port below. There you go. So that is what it looks like right there. And what we're going to do is that we're going to hook it up via power, simple power, which I had to purchase separately. So the cables I needed to purchase separately, and we're going to connect it directly via Ethernet. And actually, I want to show you what it looks like in just a bit, because I actually have a very nice very simple diagram how I want to connect it, and this is roughly what I want to do. So what you're going to see in just a bit is that I'm going to utilize my Sony PXW-X70 camera, just a simple camera. I'm going to connect it to SDI1 in on the Blackmagic 2110 IP converter 3x3G, which I will be calling. I have removed that connectivity already, and we will do that together. Studio 123, and then we're going to connect it via Ethernet to a second box, which we're going to call stage 123, and then we're going to utilize two monitors as a way to showcase that you can actually bring that signal to multiple locations, that you can really reroute it the way that you want. Alex asks, does 2110 need a dedicated network, or can it also pass a TCP data on the same cable? Yeah, not a simple answer. 2110 can run over the same cable. However, it does need an administration service running on your network. It does need that, otherwise it will not work. And it basically, it's I would say like a broker. It's a message broker. It will allow you to route messages across the network. Again, 2110 is quite difficult to get connected, and you need to have a very powerful Ethernet, network switch. My 4250 can barely handle it. That gives you a bit of an idea. So it can handle it. It can handle 4 of these, but barely. But I actually use the same network also for my NDI traffic, and soon also Dante traffic. It's getting a bit too crowded on that network. So that's also the reason why I've chosen not to put that on the same network. I want to get it on a separate network. And this time around, it's going to be a simple network between 2 devices, just 1 cable. But I'll show you in just a bit how that looks like. Again, very quickly, this is what we're going to do in just a bit. And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to do that via this right here. So this is my demo desk right here. Here you've got the cable, which is this cable right here. Very short cable, and we're gonna have the device connected that I have here. I don't have a microphone right there, so I do need to come back. Just give me a few seconds to start connecting the Studio 123 to the Ethernet to my camera, which you can see right there. So the camera will be connected. The Ethernet will be connected, and the power that is outside of the frame will also be connected. And then we'll connect this device to the laptop that you barely see on the screen. Just give me a few seconds to get that organized. We'll do it as quickly as we can. All right, so let's get this connected. SDI1. That's 1. Go. That's 2. That's 3. All right, and this is going to go right there. Okay, that should be working. Of course, I did not switch on the camera yet. I will do that at a later stage. But what I basically did is, if you look at this screen, I connected the Sony PXW to the Studio 123 Blackmagic 211 IP converter. I hooked up the Ethernet, but did not connect it yet, and I did connect the power. That's roughly what we did right here. Okay, I like this comment. I have to. Yeah, that's Nils. I'm trying. I really need to get more of these cables in purple. I totally 100% agree with that statement. It is actually purple. It turns out a little bit blue on this picture, but it is definitely purple. All right, but I like that. All right. Let's so that's basically there. And what I've done is that I've connected it to the laptop, and of course by the chance, well, it's not by chance. Of course, I also have it connected to my laptop, and because of that, I can actually now also show it to you right here how it actually is looking. So, talking about brand, yes, a purple pointer, Nils. So this is the 2110 video converter 3G, and let's open it up. So now it's connecting via USB-C, and as you can see, it states SDI1, SDI2, SDI3 as inputs. Then it goes to the outputs. Outputs are also SDI1, SDI2, SDI3. Then we've got some setup connectivities right here. Let me increase the size a little bit. There you go. Here you can set the name, the language, your date time preferences, etc. And if you go down, you can see DHCP addresses, and here this is also where I actually today hit the factory reset so that I can show you 100% what it looks like. And then last but not least, I have the 2110 connection right here. But let's start with the input output right here. So what is very important here is that if you want to connect two of these devices, again, I have a second device that I have not yet put on that table. I have it right here, ready to go. It becomes quite difficult to understand what you're looking at if you don't give it a meaningful name. So, come to think of it, I think that it would be very good to start with first and foremost giving it a meaningful name. So this is the name that it actually shows right here, 211 IP video converter 3G. Now, I do not like that name, honestly. So let's get rid of it, and let's just call it Studio 123. Studio 123. And I hit set here. Boom. So now it becomes 2110 IP Studio 123. And I keep the language English because that is totally fine. I did update the software today, so it's the latest and greatest software. I didn't see any changes, but I think it's more related to other topics. I don't care about the daytime, so I'll just unselect this one. I don't care about that because it's a separate environment, a separate network, which is totally by itself. And the network settings, I will keep it as is, DHCP, I don't care. Allow utility administration via USB and Ethernet. I will use the USB, which I actually have connected right here via the front of the device. By the way, the front is of course lit up, as you can see right here. So it is lit up, but yeah, it's not showing you a lot at the moment. Let me grab this here. Maybe you have a little bit more. No, that doesn't give you. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, That's unfortunate. I would have loved to show it to you what it was, but okay. All right. Then if you go down, the reference output, well, 1080p 25. I will go with P25. That's enough. And let's hit save just for now. So now it also is called Studio 123. Now let me explain my naming convention before I forget, because that might not be clear. So my idea in the future, we're talking about 2025, 2020, 2026, is that I want to have 4 of these units, 2 of which are in the studio, meaning that I have 6 inputs locally for the studio and also 6 outputs locally for that studio. And I want to have 3 inputs outputs in 2 different 19-inch racks. So that means that I have 2 different locations on at the venue that I can have 3 inputs and outputs, while I have, of course, 1 studio. And this is just the first setup that I have. Will I be the last? I don't know yet. I always think that it's good to learn first what you're missing and not do everything in the at once, because it's a lot of money and maybe it's something that you don't need that much, and it would be a shame to just spend it without using it. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to use it. All right. Let's continue. Also looking at the time. So we just changed the name. We just only did the setup. Now let's move back. And I don't like the names SDI 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to change that to in, as in SDI in. It gives me a little bit more of an understanding on what I am looking at. So this is all inputs. Oh, that needs to be a little bit nicer. So this doesn't look nice. There you go. That's better. All right. So now all input labels are called in 1, 2, and 3. Let's save it just for the sake of it. Before I forget. And let's move on. And then we've got outputs. Now we can call them outputs, but I think that it would be better to say this is actually Studio 1, Studio 2, and Studio 3. Because we just called it Studio 1, 2, 3, right? Let's just call it Studio 1. Maybe a space for easy readability. Studio 2, and last but not least, Studio 3. Save and go back. So ins and outs are done. Setup we already did. And 2110 we cannot do at this particular moment, though you do see that we're sending in 1, in 2, and in 3, which I think is really good. We're not interested in the clock. And these are all of the different things that are needed. So yeah, data broadcast, VBI, timecode, CCU messaging, closing captions. A lot of shizzle that we do not need. And indeed, also multicast functionality is here as well. So you do see, oh yeah, NMOS. That is the broker that I was talking about just a few minutes ago. You do need to have a NMOS registry if you want to use this with a proper network. Again, we're going to make it simple on ourselves. We're going to keep it as is. By the way, you are able to save this also locally by hitting this and just say save label set, and then just enter your information right here. But not now. So let's hit save, and this is done. So looking back at our setup. We have now successfully created the link from the Sony to Blackmagic. We actually created Studio 123. Everything is done now, and now we are gonna go further with the Ethernet connectivity. But before I do that, let's very quickly check if there are any questions or remarks before I continue. Looks like everything is fine. So that means that we can continue. So let's do that. Let's go in here. Boom. And then let's hook up the second unit right here. So what I will do for the second unit is the same thing. I want to hook it up to the computer via USB-C. I will be putting the power in, and I will be adding two monitors. Come to think, two monitors on SDI out, 1 and 2. So that these two right here. So that is what we're going to do in just a bit. So in order to let you see that, let's go here and let's get things going. All right. Power first. Let's put in the Ethernet. Ethernet is in, power is in, and let's put this one right there and give this a there you go. So that those are the two systems. Then let's add a screen like so, making sure that I'm on the correct one. SDI in or out, I mean. SDI out. There you go. Oh. That's in. And second one is also here. Let's hook this one up as well. So all right. Switching them on. All right. Switch on the computer. We have a problem. All right, so that is the connection right there. So let me just go for, oh, that's a bit of a problem. All right, I've got the connection via Studio 123 going into stage 123 via the Cat7 cable, and I have two outputs. One of them unfortunately is already showing it, but the idea is to have both of them connected. But let's start with connecting with the stage box 1. So let's go in here and let's do this. There you go. All right. So now we have Studio 123 right here. And you notice this arrow, and if I click on this, we have another 2110 video converter 3 times 3G. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to do it a little bit more quickly because it's the same setup as previously. So there's no real differences. So this is again also in. But this time around, because it's in of a different system, I do want to say this is the stage 1, 2, 3, or let's just call it A. So it's a little bit of a different naming convention. 2A, and this is number 3. It's also to make sure that everybody understands what you're looking at. Then we've got the outputs. That is not going to be called SDI, but stage. So this is stage 1. This is called stage 2. And this is called stage 3. Then we're gonna change the setup, and as you see, I don't have to do all of this stage, or maybe I think that I've used capitals, right? I'm not sure anymore. Stage 1, 2, 3. And I don't need the date time. And I think that everything else is okay. Let's make this 25 again. And I think that that's enough for now. Then I can also see if I did a good job. Oh, did I forget something? Studio was with not capital letters. I forgot to do one thing, I think. So this is fixed. That is fixed. But I forgot to hit set. So this is where I need to hit set. So it's stage 1, 2, 3. Set. Boom. Now it's definitely set up. Let's hit save. So now you can also see that I'm working with stage 1, 2, 3, which is this one right there, or I am working with the studio 1, 2, 3. Nice. Now before I go further, let's see if there are any remarks or questions. What is the latency between the two boxes? There is latency, not a lot. We'll show you in just a bit. I would state it's roughly the same as in vMix. Maybe a little bit faster, but it's definitely noticeable. So but it doesn't have to be a big problem, basically. Let's go back. All right. So, okay. So now we have the stage set up, and you do see that the first monitor is actually already set up, and that is maybe very interesting. Why is the second one not set up? Well, maybe there's something not yet correctly configured. So let's move this one here so that you can actually see it. I do see that it's, there you go, that's better. Oh, did it just flip again? There you go. All right. Okay, so let's start with this part right here. So let's go into the stage again, and let's see why this is not working. Well, it is I know why it's not working, but so let's go to 2110. So I am on this box right here now, right here, this one, and let's go to 2110, and it actually says that receiver 1 is actually pointing towards 1 on this one. So that is really cool. But I also want to get the same one on receiver too. So in order to do that, I'm hitting this magnifying glass. And notice that you now can see that why it's so important to have really good names. Because now I actually can see that I'm on this node, Studio 123, and I want to utilize the same input for this device. So I'm actually selecting this one, hitting select, boom, we're done. That's it. That's how easy it is. So now, if I do this, they are a connection. Maybe I can show a little bit more. How do I do that? Well, yeah, you can see this, right? That is a delay. That's a delay. It's not that not a lot. There you go. But it's all the same. So now you see that they're all the same setup. And of course, I can also do the other way around. Of course. But that is, I think, clear. But notice again that you can here see that you can just select everything from the Studio 123. And if I would have liked the SDI input 2, which is not there at the moment, I can hit this and it will show nothing because it doesn't show anything at the moment. But if I would change that on the device itself, which I will do, so I just put it into in number 3. So if I do that, I can now say, well, I want to have not 1 here, but I want to have 3 here. Select. Boom. There you go. And I also want to have 3 here. Boom. Perfect. So now let's look back to what we've seen. We have now seen this in action. So one camera going via the Blackmagic Studio 123, via an Ethernet cable, maybe 15 meters, maybe 100 meters, going towards stage 123. And that's where I can route it to whatever I would like. And this is basically what you have seen right here in front of you. And yeah, it is actually working very, very nicely indeed. And I'm actually quite impressed how easy that was. And it's quite, yeah, I would say very, very easy to implement. And it does exactly what it is. And again, why am I doing this? Why is this so important to me? Well, a good example is about 2 weeks ago. Was it? Yeah, 2 weeks ago, we had a very nice music festival. I actually have a video for that for you lined up for later, and we had to push a lot of cables, and cables is actually the most time intensive thing that I still have, because my video setup, even though it's all modular and I do have to bring it in several cases, setting it up is really simple for me now. So it's very fast and it works all of the time. But having 50 meters cable going that way, 50 meters cable going that way, 50 meters going that way, it takes quite a lot of time. If I would be able to say, well, I have only 2 cables of 50 meters going those 2 directions, and then I'm using maybe 5 to 10 meter cables, that will save up quite significant a lot of time. Now, of course, this is more oriented to camera operators, because of course if I would use the PTZ cameras, I would have two cables, namely PoE and control, and the other one is SDI. Granted, I can use NDI as well with vMix, but you know that I really like my ATEM switchers when I'm on location. So basically I'd have two cables, and that is of course different if I would have only one operator. So that is roughly what I had. Why I think that the 2110 is a very interesting setup. Can you transmit three different cameras? Yes. Can it convert? I have not tried yet. I'm thinking out loud if I can check that very quickly. I need to verify that. I do believe that that is possible, but I don't know if there's a scaler on the units. I can, of course, check that on the website. So let's see if they say something about it. So yeah, maybe that would be a good idea to quickly show that to you. I see that I don't have that as input anymore. So let's add the local desktop to channel 7. And then I'll display 2. There you go. All right, so this is what the 2110 converters. I've shown you this one right here, and as you can see, there's a plethora of different ones as well. So a lot. So let's go to technical specs, and let's make sure that the 3GS is connected. And let's see if they are converting. Does it say anything? So these are video standards that it all the way from 720 all the way to 1080p. It does not say. That's interesting. Now it is converting it, so I would assume that it will work. Each channel has independent SDI input and output, so it's completely different SDI devices. So I think that this is an answer to your question. Completely different. So I do believe that as long as you are within these standards, so 720p 50 all the way to 1080p 60, it'll work. So P as and I will both work. So that is, I think, a answer to your question right there. And I think that we already showed you that the latency is quite okay-ish. It is noticeable, so I would not use it for iMac, if that makes sense, but I will use it for example, running videos on a screen on the set, for example, or a confidence monitor or something like that. That would be definitely something that you could use. So that is 2110 for you. I showed you the device. It's slightly bigger than the HyperDeck Mini, as you've seen. Very capable. Just one cable for 3 inputs and 3 outputs on both sides. So 6 signals, all up to HDMI. All up to HD 1080p 60, and very capable. Very simple also to connect, and but if you want to have multiple of these units, I can imagine that you only want to have one cable, and then it might be of interest to have a dedicated switcher. But it does come with some headaches if it comes to network, and I'm not ready for that yet, so to speak. All right, that's all that I had in store for you today. Today is, of course, the last episode of November. There will be a video, of course, in December, and we will be looking back, of course, on 2024. Maybe also coming up with some ideas on what might be of interest for you for Christmas, etc. That's something to look forward to in 2 weeks' time. And I do see Agnes Agnes indeed is here. That looks like a very handy unit. Thanks for covering the latest question. Absolutely no problem at all, Agnes. And welcome to the community. So in 2 weeks back time, we're back with a episode of Tech Condo. I think that will be the last one of the year, honestly. So that's in 2 weeks from now. And I will be back, of course, in January in 2025 with also some updates on how we're gonna do 2025. You already know that if you have paid attention. It's going to be more focused towards vMix, more focused towards ATEM, and more into the software, and really go in way more depth than I've done in the past. For vMix, I actually started to build a nice Lego set so that we can actually do some switcheroos there, so that we can really explain things to you. Neil says Christmas came early for Petra. Presents already on the shelf. Oh yes. Oh, well. Honestly, I had the 2010 set up for like 4 months already. I actually used it once to see if it was something that I was of interest, and I did decide that it's definitely interesting. I'm still on the fence if it comes to adding an additional set. So, but it's definitely a very good investment. Indeed, Lego guys, it is very cool. All right. So indeed, no Christmas presents for me this year anymore, but that's totally 100% fine. I am very lucky to be where I am at the moment. It also means that I'm actually quite well done with what I have now. So that's also a bit of the issue that I'm facing for Tech Condo. But hey, that's life, and that's also good. So we'll figure something out for 2025. 2 weeks time we're back. Please be here, be there as well. Please don't forget to like this video. Also subscribe if you have not yet done that at this particular moment. Also, one more thing. I did get a copyright strike from YouTube because of the soundtrack that I've been using for over 7 years. For some reason, it's not been picked up. I did pay for it. It should be okay, but we'll figure out what is going on. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate you for taking your time, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.